Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And Victoria Tedesco.
Welcome. This episode is long awaited here. Our last double digits episode number 99 of the Post-Raw show. Wow. Next week's our big 100th episode, and obviously we got to get through the show tonight, but we cannot thank everybody enough. The people who join us every single week and watch this show with us, or watch our show, watch us do this show, but watch Monday Night Raw and then get to hear. Some of you don't watch Monday Night Raw and just get the recap from us, and that we appreciate as well.
Absolutely.
We appreciate the people who show up live. We appreciate so many people have been watching us. I noticed though that when Raw stinks, like numbers always go up, and if we're mad about the show, they go up. And last week was just like the 98th episode was just like one big long rant, and
you started off real hot. You cursed immediately, and it was like, no, you're right. Whenever there's a rant, whenever there's anger involved, that's it. Numbers spike.
I know. We had 1,400 people watching last week. That's incredible, and really, it's like we can't do this without the people who watch with us every week.
No, definitely not.
They get us started. They've supported us from the very get-go. Billy Hefner has just blood, sweat, and tears into promoting this show.
He literally promotes us all the time. Like I said, we have to hire Billy.
I know.
We have to hire Uncle Billy as like our professional promoter because he does. He promotes us all the time.
That's it.
Even though we're family, like still. Like,
exactly.
He goes above and beyond.
He always goes above and beyond. Billy kills it every week for us. But with it being our 100th episode next week, we want to do some special things. If anybody out there is good at graphics, I know I made this announcement last night on Wrestleview Live, our watch along with me and Doug. I had a lot of fun doing that last night. I hope you enjoyed it as well. But last night I announced at the end of the watch along, if you didn't catch the end of it, I asked if anybody is good at graphics or videos or whatever, if you can offer your services to us to help us make the Post-Raw 100 extra special, please reach out to me. If we're friends on Facebook, just reach out to me. If reach out to me on Twitter, even though I really don't use my Twitter all that much, or even email me, Mike@Wrestleview.com. We have a lot of stuff. So we have a big announcement. Looking around this place, we are now currently in the process of 99 shows. Well, technically, I guess this technically should have been the 100th episode. This should have been the 100th episode. We have one lost episode.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that episode. So this is 99, even though we technically have this is our 100th show, but whatever. But we have done 99 and a half shows in this place. Well, we have an announcement. We are now officially homeowners. And if you've noticed, like the last few weeks, if I show like a single shot of Victoria, you'd see like a whole bunch of boxes next to her. We've been packing up all our shit. We're moving to a new house, and if all goes well, according to plan, next week we should be doing our 100th Post-Raw show from our brand new house. So we're very excited about that, and
yeah,
it's a big step for us.
It's a big step for us in so many ways. Not only we just got to get the stuff there, but I think we could do it. We're not moving far, but we're moving into a house, like Mike said. So hopefully, we can get everything kind of underway. We got painting done in the house. Might do some little shiplap in the on the walls and stuff. Getting a dining room set. So we have a lot of stuff to do this week. A lot of no sleep. Well, I don't sleep anyway, so.
Victoria's not a sleeper.
But we are very excited. And another big announcement for our 100th episode next week. We are
just this once. Just preface it. Just make sure they know this is just a one-time deal.
Okay. You don't even let me get to it. Jeez. One time only. 100th episode. Monday Night Raw watch along. So
we're going to go big for the 100th episode. We're going to do a watch along of Monday Night Raw. I have no idea what's going to be on Raw next week. They didn't announce anything, just like tonight.
It might be the worst Raw you ever seen.
It very well might be. The worst Raw. It's going to be a random ass Raw.
This is my first watch along.
There you go.
It is.
Technically, I think tonight was really like sweeps week, right? Or the beginning of sweeps week. Usually it's like either this week or next week is usually like their sweeps week.
When's wait, did we have that already? No, the
What's
season
that?
premiere.
No, that's what I'm saying. Tonight technically is, I believe, the season premiere, or next week's to be the season premiere.
Oh, that would be cool if it was next week was the season premiere for the 100th episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't announce anything.
Well, they can't announce anything because everyone's getting COVID in the company.
Well, yeah, they can't. They also can't announce anything because they literally don't plan out any storylines more than that day.
Now they really can't plan for anything because somebody might get COVID within 2 seconds. So
I know.
I mean, it's their third outbreak.
Their third outbreak.
Really?
We're going to talk about that. And before we do, let's say hello to everybody. And I want to just do a courtesy check on the people that don't watch Raw. That are, if we hope you can still come to the watch along anyway, and enjoy. Even if you don't watch Raw anymore, you can watch us watch and cry.
It'll be really funny. In my first watch along, because I'm a type of person who can't really hide my emotions. So when I see something that sucks, you're gonna know right away.
I know, and you've seen me recap Raw, and you've heard me after I recap Raw. You should see me in the process.
In the process is something just, it's gold. So it's a force to be reckoned with. So
it's gonna be something.
Do yourself a favor, and if you're not gonna watch the show, watch the watch along.
That's it. So we're going to so we'll probably pop on around 7:45 and get ourselves ready for Monday Night Raw. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, let's say hello to everybody here.
Let's finally say hello.
We got Quentin Walters, who's been with us since our very first episode in the chat room tonight. We got Daniel Schell. He's not on the list. That's very good. Uncle Billy. Uncle Billy. By the way, hold on. I have to. You know what? I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get this on here.
Can you screen share?
That's what I'm gonna try to do. Oh, Nafis messaged us. Thank you so much, Nafis.
As always.
I'm just gonna have to do this trashy ass. Here, look at this. Can't you see? Holding it up to the camera. But Billy Hefner, after 900 times on the Thunderdome and not appearing, and I thought he was on last night.
We thought he was on.
I thought he was on last night during Clash of Champions, but I was mistaken.
I have it up on my phone.
Here's Billy. Let me see if I can make sure that this is showing nice. There's Billy Hefner in the Thunderdome.
Billy looks so happy, by the way.
Billy was so happy. I believe this was during Aleister Black and Kevin Owens, and then immediately after they unceremoniously booted him out of the Thunderdome.
I don't understand. I can't.
He was I don't understand that at all.
I think what happens with you, because you've been immediately you were immediately in the Thunderdome. I feel like what happens with you, no matter, you just have a face for people are just yeah.
I know
this guy on there.
My cousin texted me during I keep saying payback Clash of Champions last night, and I didn't even see it. I guess because in the middle of recapping and talking with Doug, I wasn't watching commercials, and I was in the commercial. I was ow, giving one of my trademark intensity. They keep using that shot in all of their videos. I want some royalties here, man.
I want royalties too.
Yeah, I know you're in the shot, but
I'm in the shot.
But they got me. The light, the fireworks illuminating the magnificence.
I'll never
of my
forget
face.
our honeymoon, and we went to one of the Monsters Inc. show, and your face just all of a sudden
Yeah, I know. They picked me out of the crowd. And what else? I was definitely on a lot of things. Beauty and the Beast. They picked me for.
And they picked us for that movie.
Oh, yeah, that movie at Universal Studios with The Rock.
It wasn't me. They were that guy, and then he was. And
there's something about my face that.
They asked you. They're like, "Oh, are you with anybody?" And they're like, "Yeah, this is my new wife."
Yeah, and all right, good.
And she could join us too, I guess. I was like, ew, really?
Michael Ryan is in the chat room tonight. Michael, hello.
Hello.
Andrew Elder, Nafis, our dear friend Nafis.
Wait, Michael Ryan? There's a lot of, I know there's going to be a lot of Mike Ryans.
Yes, there's a lot of Michael Ryans.
I'm just saying I went to high school and graduated with the Michael Ryan, so.
No, I don't think
if
it's
it's you, let me know.
I don't think so. Nafis says, hello, Tedesco's, accept this as my salutation and the only contribution to pro wrestling tonight. Well, next week, we got to get you going here. We got to get Nafis watching just for next week. Scotty Poindexter, congratulations. Thank you, Scotty. Mashoon Walls, hello, King Tedesco, Queen Tori, and congrats on the new place.
Hello.
Thank you, Grash, congrats on the new home. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Um,
Oh no, what?
Grash is good at graphics. He goes, I guess I got to use the In Your House logo for something for you then. So it's gonna be Raw in your house next week because we're literally gonna be in our house.
I like it.
I love that idea.
I love that idea.
Oh man,
now we have to do it.
Scotty Poindexter in the room. I just say hello to him. We got Corey Howe. Corey's in the chat.
Hello.
Can't wait for 100 next week. And hello Queen Victoria, Miss Baby Lily, and always the best recapper. Always need Victoria's rants and congrats on the new house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Brian's in the chat room. Freebird. Freebird, I didn't like that. I am mad. I don't know what he's talking about, but he's mad about something. Jorge Oliva in the chat room.
Hello.
Olaf, Amelia Tedesco, rest in peace, Road Warrior Animal. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
You're one of the great ones. We will see you down the road. And he got to meet Road Warrior Animal. Very cool.
Ooh.
That's very cool. Kit Dyson's in the chat room tonight. Excellent. Perfect Gamer in the chat room. Wow, there's a lot of people just sitting here listening to us say hello and talk about ourselves. And we have a Raw to talk about. There's a lot going on in wrestling, though. Yes, and one of the big things, obviously, last week, total bummer. Really a surprise. Kind of just a really super sad story that I'll talk about by myself, because Liliana just woke up right in the middle of that. Is the death of the great Road Warrior Animal. What a bummer. I mean, Victoria was. I told her that. There she goes. See you later, Victoria. We'll see you in a few. Yeah, Road Warrior Animal. What a sad story. Only 60 years old. Is one of the best tag teams of all time. Doug and I were talking about tag teams last night. We're talking about tag team wrestling. Jamel got us started on that, and Road Warriors are obviously there as like one of my favorites of all time, right? The shoulder pads, the face paint, the mohawk, and then the reverse mohawk on Hawk, the Doomsday Device, the hard hitting. Man, what a great tag team they were. Total bummer that he died on September 22nd at a resort, and I believe it was. I gotta look it up. I gotta read my story, but he was on vacation essentially, celebrating his wedding anniversary with his wife. He died on his wedding anniversary, apparently in front of his wife. It's really a super, super sad story. Unexpected, of course, like heart attack at 60, big dude, did steroids, it's like, it seems like these guys from the 80s, like even like making it to 60, like he's an old man compared to like some of his colleagues from the 1980s. It's really a bummer, and it sucks because obviously he has a family. All of them did. Big Boss Man. Everybody had somebody, and there's a lot of families that are broken. Whether due to drugs or your heart gives out from steroid abuse or whatever. It's the 1980s. Like I love watching these old shows and doing the retro recaps, but as I was I found myself as I was doing retro recaps, especially during like WrestleMania 6, where there's like 3/4 of the card is dead. It's humbling to watch, especially like when you would watch a match and like Joey Morella would be refereeing it or something like that, and it's like every single person, including all the managers in this match, is dead, and it sucks because it's 30 years ago. People, you'll lose people as 30 years goes on, but not at such a clip like this. I mean, you look at these guys, they were, some of them were in their 20s, some of them in their 30s during that time when they're gone. By all rights, they should be like Animal and just getting into their 60s, and not a lot of them are. And it's really a bummer. That sucks. And I'm actually glad that you got me to talk about that. The Road Warrior Pop Brian brings up. Hawk was only 56 when he died. Was he really? He was that much older than Animal? Because he died in 2003. Let's see. I'm just going to look that up real quick. Was he 56? I think he was... No, he was 46. He's 46, okay. Yeah, he wasn't that... I mean, he was 3 years older than Hawk, it looks like. 3 years older. Yeah, he was at a resort. Yeah, Hawk's been gone since 2003, and that's just craziness. Very, very much crazy. Yeah, so that's going on. We also have, in the midst of all this, our third COVID outbreak in WWE, and it's led to a lot of changes on the show. I mean, like, you could see the changes on Raw tonight. Retribution, not there. All those people are working out still working at the Performance Center in the meantime, or if they're not at the Performance Center, everybody that ran in on Retribution last week, they're all members of the Performance Center. Yes, they were wearing masks, but I'm sure they all got together beforehand, and it's like, was there cross-contamination? Was there something? You can't be sure. But, I mean, you can't shut down Monday Night Raw, so they just kept the show going. But you don't have to bring in Ric Flair. You don't have to bring in Jerry Lawler. And they did both of those things tonight. Ric Flair, I talked about it last night, and, I talked to people, I put my tweet out last night saying, bringing Ric Flair was a big mistake, and someone's like, well, it's their decision to bring in Rick, and it's like, yes, who cares if Ric Flair gets COVID and dies, as long as you're entertained? There's so many people that are such losers and so stupid and just think about themselves. And Doug's right. We had that conversation last night. Doug goes, you really think wrestling fans care at all about the health and safety of the performers? Absolutely not. And he's so totally right about that. It totally sucks. But Retribution, all of them have tested negative for COVID-19, but because they have been in contact with those that have, they're quarantined for 2 weeks, so they're off. And we're not sure when that 2 weeks began. It might be retroactive to like last Wednesday when they started figuring all this stuff out, because I started reporting on the NXT COVID outbreak around last Wednesday or Thursday. They knew something was up then, because they had, they had a lot of people off that show. That's what led to that weird tag match with, I think it was like Danny Burch and who I can't remember. It was like Roderick Strong, Danny Burch teaming together against some other people it just escapes my mind. Raw Women's Tag Team Champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler off because there may have been contact with someone who had COVID, so they're both just quarantined. They're both off, and they don't have it. They don't have COVID. Nikki Cross married to Killian Dane, who's on the NXT roster. Killian Dane was not on the show last week. Nikki Cross, they knew since at least Friday, because she wasn't on SmackDown, that she wasn't going to be able to do that match, and they kept promoting that match. Now, granted, that match isn't going to sell the pay-per-view. I don't think anybody was tuning into WWE Clash of Champions last night to watch Bayley versus Nikki Cross, but still, that's the kind of stuff that drives people away, the false advertising and all that crap. Obviously, Raw Underground, there was no Raw Underground tonight, because the Raw Underground is all Performance Center people. They're the ones who surround the ring, none of them wearing masks, by the way. No Shane McMahon, no mention of that, no Dabba-Kato, no Riddick Moss, no Arturo Ruas, none of those people. But they did send out they had Dolph Ziggler out there, and he was in Raw Underground last week. I'm sure he tested negative, but that doesn't mean anything. That just means he might be asymptomatic right now. But yeah, no Raw Underground tonight. Not like it really, not like the show is really missing that, but that also happened. So there's a lot of stuff going on in this company, and to bring two guys north of 70 there, especially both of them had heart issues, putting them in the high risk category, right? It's not a good deal, not a good deal at all. And Daniel Shaw says at least Raw next week won't have to compete with the VP debate or Monday Night Football. Is the VP debate next week? I don't even know. Oh well. But and of course Corey Hall also mentioning no Cedric Alexander. He was put into Hurt Business boot camp. That was their explanation for not having him on. So yeah, a lot of people conspicuous by their absence on this show tonight, and it's not good. It's not good. AEW is dealing with their own stuff. Obviously Ben Carter, Lance Archer, those are the two that have come forward that we know about. But there could be others that we don't know about. A lot of the people that were on AEW Dark, they're uncontracted. They are freelancers. They go and, do gigs at other independent shows. A bunch of them came down with COVID. They were all at the tapings at the beginning of September. So yes, and Florida, in their great wisdom, has decided, in the midst of all this, with rising numbers and their state's a damn mess, to open restaurants to 100% capacity and just keep this thing going. So, I talked about last night with Doug. I talk about this. I know it's. I know it's it's not going to do anything, but even if I'm just holding a small match to the foot of the giant corporation WWE, somebody's got to do it. Like, they're small beans compared to other corporations, and like I was saying last night, people expect a certain amount of sleaze from this company, and and they just the mainstream media just knows that they're scumbags running this company, or at least that's what they believe. Wrestling's kitschy. Wrestling is, trash anyway. Wrestling is the redheaded stepchild of modern entertainment. So they don't pay attention. Even when there's a COVID outbreak, it's like, well, they're scumbags and they're still running shows. That's what happened. Yeah. And Frank McMahon, Frank Cal McMahon, Mike, the Lightning won the Stanley Cup and downtown Tampa is full of fans right now. COVID be damned, goddamn Florida. Yeah. So the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Tampa Bay Lightning have won the Stanley Cup. That is, yep. So there's going to be, you could just imagine the numbers are going to spike, and somebody's going to say, "Oh, it's not because of that." It's like, yeah. So Frank, are you a Lightning fan? This is Frank McMahon here, our dear friend here. Knowing Florida, why not? He thinks there very well might be a parade. Florida, if you're living in Florida, I really feel for you. It's like some people are living with their heads under a rock about this entire situation with COVID, but there's a lot of people that are retired that live down there, and I'm sure they're all really afraid to leave their house at this point. And Ron DeSantis is opening up restaurants to 100% capacity, and it's just, this is why we're never going to get over this thing. Our new normal very well might be wearing, where did I put mine? I had my mask. Oh, here it is. Our new normal very well might just be wearing the damn mask all the time, and it's just never going to end. You're going to be, you meet me in public one day, and I'll be wearing this because that's just what we do. It sucks. But I don't see any end in sight to this for now. And on that happy note, let's talk about Monday Night Raw. Uber Eats and grocery delivery jobs are booming in Florida, according to Frank. Quentin Walters had COVID. Quentin, how, like, we're so happy that you're feeling better. I've talked to people that have had COVID, and they said, like, one friend of mine that had it said that for 2 weeks he essentially just sat on his couch and every now and then was just laying on the floor on his stomach, and the only thing he was doing was just concentrating on taking his next breath. It's not a fun thing. And Freebird says, "Dan, remember you can get COVID more than once." That is right. You definitely can get COVID more than once. They have proven that. Caleb Braxton, actually, who was on Raw tonight, had COVID twice already. So there's that. And Andrew Elder says, "Actually, Mike, you'd be surprised at the old people who have no problem going out." Yes, I'm actually sure that I would be. I am sure that I would be. It's amazing. This is our world that we live in. A world where people don't care about thy neighbor. They don't love thy neighbor. And it's Generation Me. We are a long way away from the summer of love and peace and kindness. Now it's just, it's all about getting revenge for wrongs made against you, and hanging on to political power and inserting dominance. It's tough. It's a tough world to live in. Now, let's talk about this show. So the good thing is, and Billy Hefner actually messaged me about this, and like a fool, I have not corrected it yet. I still have Michael Cole in there on commentary, but I will change that at some point. Daniel Schell's getting a little political here right now. And Freebird says over 235 cases on that Houston incident. There you go. On Houston area, there's flesh-eating bacteria. What the hell? Oh my God. What? That's so 2020 to have flesh-eating bacteria. Okay. Now, before I get into the Raw recap, we got a bunch of people here. The chat room is lively. If you haven't liked this video yet, like this video. Get us going here, and we'll start this up. Victoria is still in there with Liliana, so I'm gonna at least start talking. Oh, did I hear? Oh no, I thought I heard the doorknob. I thought I heard the doorknob there. So we're in the Thunderdome. We go live into the WWE Thunderdome. Nature Boy Ric Flair, The Big Show, Christian, and Shawn Michaels all make their entrances. They all got involved in that ambulance match last night at WWE Clash of Champions. Now, I like this opening segment. Of course, I don't like Ric Flair. Back to COVID Night Raw. Of course, I don't like Ric Flair coming out in the midst of another outbreak in WWE, or even just driving Ric Flair into a COVID hotspot like Florida is, and Florida will continue to be. Especially two heart problems. A pacemaker in there. Obviously, he doesn't look well to begin with. It's very sad to see. And he's just an old dude, But then again, Vince McMahon goes out there every friggin' week, and he's doing his thing. The one thing that was talked about coming out of WWE Clash, a lot of people were like, "Oh, they really made Drew McIntyre look weak. They made him look weak in this match because he, needed all these legends. And they all essentially double teamed Randy Orton at some point, and that's BS. And they made him look so bad. Well, they actually did a really good job in this opening segment kind of explaining. Shawn Michaels came out and said, yeah, we're sorry if you want to be mad at us for interfering. We felt like we needed to get revenge on Randy Orton, and, an ambulance match, no DQ, that kind of gave us the opportunity to do it. We're sorry we didn't let you in on that. But if you want to be mad at Ric Flair. And that was like the joke. Drew McIntyre came out and said, we are all here because of Randy Orton, but last night at Clash of Champions, I beat his ass and still stand here as the WWE champion. Randy Orton eventually appears on the big screen and says, last night they went through hell, but McIntyre has no idea what hell is, but he will at some point. So even though, you would think last night, yes, I know he had the help from the legends, but the punt kick to Randy Orton, you would think that's like, you would save the punt kick for the very final match that they're going to have. That would be the thing that blows off the feud completely, McIntyre giving him a punt kick. But apparently we have to get to Hell in a Cell with this as well, because it's October. That means it's Hell in a Cell time, and that's it. Whether this match needs a Hell in a Cell or not, here we go. We're going to get one. I talk about it every year. I hate the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view gimmick. I hate all these pay-per-views where it's just like, okay, it's WWE TLC, so let's have let's just force everybody to have a TLC match even if they don't need it. We're gonna do that. And they always do TLC around Christmas, and I'm always like, man, that's a tough way to go into the holidays, really, just like slamming yourselves through ladder bridges and tables and taking chair shots to the back. Not exactly a great way to prepare yourself for the holidays. I always thought that, especially in December, no one really watches, what's going on in wrestling around that time. They did the Lashley Lana wedding last year at the end of December to kind of get people interested. But for the most part, December numbers suck. And it's like, why are you going to have them kill each other for that? Put TLC, some other time in the year, and just make it like a regular show. Put Night of Champions in December, and just let them take it easy. Seriously, let them just take it easy. I never understood just really beating the crap out of your talent like that. And Frank has a point here. Frank gives a point here. Better a long feud like Drew Randy going to Hell in a Cell than a 2-week feud like Bray Wyatt and Seth did last year in that debacle. No question about it. No question about it. Yeah, it makes sense for this feud to go into Hell in a Cell, but what I'm saying is they just, they gave you the end of the feud last night, and now they're stretching it out some more. But that's what they've been doing all year. It's like Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio, they stretched that thing out. Seth Rollins took Rey Mysterio's eye out, and it's still going on. He's beaten his son mercilessly. It's still going on. Now, it's just never ending. They like this year has just been all about stretching things out to the max. It's like, man, I remember having the toy Stretch Armstrong when I was a kid, and like you really did believe like it was such a stupid toy that you could stretch this thing out as far as possible. They had like corn syrup in it or something like that, and you could stretch it, and then it would like the corn syrup would pull the plastic back in. But I remember me and my brother going outside and stretching Stretch Armstrong's arms, stretching until he started ripping at his armpits. That corn syrup started coming out. It was very sticky and very nasty, and the toy was ruined. And then once the air hits it, it all starts to dry up. It was a piece of garbage after that. Every single storyline this year is that Stretch Armstrong incident. It is stretched out. It's dried up. It's a piece of crap now. We got to end all this stuff. Drew and Randy Orton, it was a great feud, and yes, they're going to just expand it along one more time. But I hope after Hell in a Cell, because Hell in a Cell was always traditionally the blow off to all feuds, and now it's just like an accoutrement to the feuds as they continue on. I hope that this is the end of it. I hope that they have something. Well, then we go to Survivor Series, and then just randomly it's brand supremacy. Who cares about brand supremacy? Really, nobody ever. They don't talk about it for the rest of the year. But Raw, SmackDown, NXT just have to face each other at Survivor Series. So you'll have that, and then they'll get back to trying to do storylines in December. It's the same crap every year. Anyway, getting back to this opening promo, I really liked it. They explained away the legends coming out. They gave Drew his heat back because they said, yeah, you didn't know about it. And Drew acknowledged that he didn't know about it. And then Drew, because they didn't promote anything heading into this show. And they're going head to head against a pretty marquee match, a pretty marquee football game tonight, Monday Night Football with the Ravens and the Chiefs. And actually, let me check to see how my fantasy team did there, because I have Hilaire on my team. That kid's good. Yeah, it looks like the Chiefs beat them 34-20, but it was a shootout going into halftime. I did see that. They definitely had something going on halftime. Oh, my goodness. I won 206-150. So good. I'm so good at fantasy. Anyway, they had a good, so that's a marquee matchup. You would think that maybe we should promote something, early in the day, but no, because they don't. And CJ's also right. Frank reminded me of that also. The Stanley Cup final, as well was tonight. Although the Stanley Cup Finals, like those games, it's like so funny. Like they were on network TV, especially like the one on Friday night that really did nothing, in terms of like a big rating. Like NHL obviously isn't what football is or basketball is, but it does. That is still competition for this show. So again, you should want to promote something going in there, but I guess they figure, okay, we'll just make all of our surprises on this show. But damn, I would have loved to have known at like 10 in the morning going on to WWE.com that Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels and Big Show and Christian were going to be on Raw tonight. I would have loved to have known that. And I'm sure a lot of other people that found out about the show after the fact, we were like, oh man, I would have liked to have seen that. Jeez. Oh well, that's their MO. Don't promote anything. So they give the announcement just to kind of get word of mouth going that Drew McIntyre is going to do an open challenge for the WWE Championship tonight. Is she down? Victoria is coming back here. It looks like the baby is down. Yeah, but okay, so that's not a good sign. We'll see what happens. Baby's teething still. She's had 4 teeth come in. All right. And 2 more coming in at the bottom, according to mommy here. All right, so that, again, fun way to kick off the show. I initially thought, I was like, okay, because we have to stretch everything out, that Keith Lee would be the one to face Drew McIntyre. But Keith Lee was in the next match, or was in the match after the next match, of course. We have a night of Clash of Champions. Let's see, they change this damn name all the time. Anyway. Clash of Champions rematch with Asuka and Zelina Vega coming up here. But before we do that, let's say hi to Victoria. She's back, everybody. There she is. So, Victoria, Wouldn't you, I was talking again, we've been talking a lot about how they don't advertise anything. Wouldn't you have liked to have known that Ric Flair, Big Show, Christian, and Shawn Michaels were going to be on the show tonight?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I feel like even now, even more so, they're not promoting things. It used to be where, like, even if there was, like, one thing, and especially if you have legends coming back, like, they would promote the hell out of it. But now it's just, like, I genuinely think this. So I think the reason why they don't promote anything is because, especially now, let's say you say Ric Flair's coming back, or everybody else who came back tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're not there because of COVID. So I think there's a small element to that now. Like, really, really thinking about it, I think there's certain stuff they just lack in promotion. I do. Because I went on a long tangent about that a few weeks ago, about how they need better social media. They need to promote things better. I went really, really hard on them for that. But the more and more I kind of think about it, I think the reason why they're not promoting something as simple as, like, the legends, which they used to do. They used to say, like, oh, yeah, so-and-so's coming back tonight. I think they're not doing it because they've had, like, 6 outbreaks already. I know I'm exaggerating, but they've had 3. I think they don't want to promote anybody, and then it'd be like, oh, well, they can't come tonight.
Yeah.
And they lose viewership. So I think it's like a catch-22 in the sense of, like, you're promoting Christian, right? Coming back tonight. Christian, God forbid, gets COVID. He doesn't come back, right? So then you're like, I don't feel like watching now because he's not coming. He's not going to be on. But then if you're not promoting it either, then it's like you're losing the chance of somebody actually being on the show.
I can see.
So I think it's like, and I'm not defending it. I think they should still promote it regardless. And then if they get COVID, oh well, not oh well, like, God forbid. But what I'm saying is like, in order to at least try to gain that viewership. But I think they really just don't want to, like, lose the audience.
I actually think that they just don't have this show planned out and finalized until
I
hours
agree with
before
you.
it goes on.
I totally agree with you, and we had long conversations about that. But I'm saying currently, because they used to at least plan, not
sometimes. Yeah.
I'm saying for legends, unless it was like a major surprise, they used to promote the hell out of that.
Oh yeah.
But, or they would at least say, "Oh, legends will be on tonight." There was, and correct me if I'm wrong. Did they even say legends were going to be on the show tonight? Did they? I'm asking you.
They said they announced it on social media, and then
when
midday around 4 o'clock.
But that's what I'm talking about. They didn't do it prior to that.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
I mean, obviously they called these guys up and said, be there for Raw tomorrow. They could have said at the end of Clash of Champions, or right before Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns. I know it is. I know it is.
No, not to you. I'm talking to everybody. I'm like, that's the point I'm trying to make. It's like midday today is not promoting it.
Right.
This should have been like days ago.
And
last night.
CJ's trying to say that, like social media, like you can do all your promotion on social media. I'm sorry, that's not good enough. Like their show is so heavy on 50 plus, and this show skews older, and the young people, they just it's just not the data that's there. Most young people are not like huge fans. And yes, they're doing the social media thing. It's great. And their social media wins tons of awards, on the Webbies and Cable Fax Awards. But majority of the people that watch aren't even on social media. That's why, like, we always kind of dream that, like, oh, they can, you can do like a whole feud on social media and get people interested, in something, but it never has panned out like that. Because
but in regards to social media, though, like I said, I'm looking right now, right?
Okay.
I'm just looking.
Their social media is great.
I have to beg to differ on that one.
One of the best.
Not my opinion, but that, again, that's an argument that I would have to have with many people that I'm not willing to have right now. Nothing about any legends in past whatever. There's no promotion of them at all.
Well, did you looked from before Raw started?
Raw, I'm looking from before. Nothing.
I mean, it was definitely there. I mean, I remember seeing it, and they had it on the website, but again, it was like midday, 4:00. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so they put it up at
What are you looking at
6:04. I'm on their Twitter account.
Okay, they don't have it on their Instagram account.
Okay, so they don't have it on their Instagram account.
But
yes.
Again, okay, but that's a problem to me. You should have it connected to all your accounts.
Yeah, I mean, okay, but really, like what it comes down to is at 6:00. It shouldn't be the first time that you're hearing that Ric Flair is going to be on the show.
And the point I'm trying to make is with the social media right now is they don't have it even. They didn't have it yesterday. They didn't have it at any point.
Yeah.
So like you said, 6:00. It's like you could have the best social media in the entire world. And again, I have to differ with that.
Well, they want. But the social media can only put up.
They can only do it so far.
What the writing staff gives them, or what comes down from the office. And if the office isn't giving them a friggin' preview until 6:00, that's what they have to work with. I don't blame social media for it.
I don't
blame
it either,
but I'm also saying, like, if they think like, oh, we can just put it on social media and that's gonna, be good enough to pop a rating, it's not, because their audience doesn't follow social media.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
I definitely agree with that.
So anyway, getting back to this, so we got Asuka versus Zelina Vega. And this, it was okay. I thought it was. I actually thought the match was better than their Clash of Champions match last night. But Zelina was pretty rough in this one, and it's Asuka that was really protecting her in this. I think Zelina's great. I think she's really good. She's a good character. She's got that fiery temper. She's got a good look. She could be great. They just have to give her more reps in the ring, and the only way they're going to get that is to keep her out there.
Yeah. I think, honestly, with Zelina Vega, I think she has a lot of potential. And I wholeheartedly agree with the fact that she's just got to be out there more. I think with more time and the more she kind of understands, like, matches and doing what needs to do in terms of the ring, I think she'll get there. I think she will, and I think that's exposure. And if it means that she's gonna have mediocre matches for a while, that's fine,
Yeah.
And but as long as there's a progression there, and because they really need to start building up the women's division again, and Zelina Vega is definitely somebody who they need to utilize.
Well, they're building it up, So we got the WWE draft coming up in 2 weeks. And they're already moving people between rosters, which I don't get. I mean, I understood moving Mandy Rose to Raw as a way to screw with Otis, and Miz arranged that. I thought the storyline was really good and really cute. No word on who's going over to SmackDown for that.
As a result, yeah.
But then randomly now tonight, Drew Gulak is on the show. That whole entire invitational thing that no one's even mentioning it. Braun Strowman was on the show a few weeks ago. Yeah, I get it. Raw Underground doesn't count toward that invitational. But then it just seems like they've just given up on even trying to do the rules anymore. It's screw the rules. We're just gonna, just ignore them and just continue on with what we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes, these big surprises Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are now on the show, and Drew Gulak, and they're just here now. You're already starting watering down your announcements, before you even go into the WWE draft. I don't understand that. I really the women's division has been lacking on this show for months. Ever since Charlotte Flair went down with her cosmetic, surgery, and Becky Lynch got pregnant. Asuka really hasn't really had a dearth of talent to face. It's they've gone this long with the women's division being terrible, and now you have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler on quarantine because they had exposure. They don't have COVID, but they were exposed to it. It's
dropping flies.
It already stinks. It's just wait 2 weeks. Why do we was it really pressing that we needed to start bringing people in? Wouldn't it be better just to have them as part of all the surprises? And I don't know.
What was that thing?
It's kind of random.
Gosh, my brain is so fried right now. What's the thing they had last year where it was the Superstar shakeup, right? But then there was this rule about you came over and then the amount of times that you're able to come over as a SmackDown performer versus a Raw performer. What was that?
Oh, the wild card.
Oh yeah. Oh,
the wild card.
Remember that? I feel like
because when times get tough, they just start doing those stupid things.
Yeah.
It's just well, we just have to put a cute little name on it and go from there.
And go for it.
Oh, the wild card.
Yeah.
Oh, the invitational.
Remember that?
Okay.
Like it was like, oh, you have like 5 times that you can go, and then like 5 people, but then they
4 people per week were
4
allowed
people
on
per
or
week,
something
but then
like
they would have more people, and they were like, oh, well, they really don't count.
And then it was like, okay, now we're doing a draft, and it's gonna be serious now. It's like, okay,
It's like, well, I feel like that's what.
Sure, it's gonna be serious until it's not
it's
serious.
Not serious, yeah.
So all night they were showing these like little vignettes of the legends backstage playing poker and Ric Flair cleaning up on poker. So that'll play into the end of the show, which was actually pretty damn funny. Come back from the break. Andrade is in the ring. He is Zelina Vega still there, and he's yelling at her, saying she would be nothing without him. She blamed him for everything, but she lost to Asuka twice. Angel Garza got injured. He was the one holding the team together. He's the greatest in WWE. Who wants to face him? So another open challenge shortly after Drew McIntyre makes his own open challenge.
Themes. We like themes in this show.
We like themes. Who thought it? Okay, I get it. Like Asuka goes out there and shouts in Japanese, and no one understands what she says. But like, who thought it was a good idea to send Andrade out there to try to cut a serious promo in completely broken English? You could tell the guy was like, God, why are they doing this to me? Like Andrade should have like tonight would have been the night to like, okay, if we're gonna bring somebody over from SmackDown to manage him, like okay, do that instead. Like I'd rather that than have Dana Brooke. I would love, like, you know, for him to have debuted a brand new manager tonight, you know, and him walk out with that new manager and then shun Zelina Vega because they broke him up with Zelina Vega.
Yeah,
so
right,
she's gonna be a competitor now. I'm trying to think who could do it. You know, like
who realistically can do it. Yeah. I'm trying to think.
Like I would love to. Or how about this? Like Legado del Fantasma. You know, Santos Escobar comes out. Like he joins like that stable. Bring that stable up to Raw because I think they are so good. Santos Escobar is man.
Yeah, what they need to do is like you said, stabilize it and kind of like now hone in on it again and just really get it back to where it was. You know. But just expand upon it.
Oh yeah. Like they should have done something with that. Oh man, let's see.
What's going on?
Grash says that he just sent us an image. I like that a lot. Like you can send me a clean version of the Wrestleview logo. Okay, yep. Okay, I have to show this to you later. This is gonna be for Raw 100 next, post Raw 100 next week. Corey Howe. Thank you, Corey. Tonight would have been the night to debut Melina as Andrade's manager. Melina would have been great there. Oh, man. Night, CJ. Thanks for joining us. Melina would have been awesome in that. Oh, wow. Yes, she could have. Wow. Yeah, she should have absolutely been his manager tonight. But maybe him going out and talking for himself and then getting crushed by Keith Lee shortly after, maybe that'll be the impetus for bringing Melina in. He definitely needs a manager, though. It benefited absolutely nobody because he's a heel. Like Asuka's the face, and shouting in Japanese is, you know, and being kooky is a fun little gimmick for her. When she was a heel, you know, like they figured out that, okay, having her shout in Japanese is like, you know, makes her mysterious. So that's good as well. But they also did give them her and Kairi Sane Page to be their manager for a little while, you know, because they felt like they needed a mouthpiece.
Well, if English is not your first language and you struggle with it, which I can't even imagine, to be honest with you, I don't speak another language, and if somebody told me I had to, you know, speak another language, if I had to, because I understand Spanish, sometimes I can't speak it as well. But if I had to go out and cut a promo in Spanish, I would be terrified.
Right. Right.
So, and you lose all your confidence doing that. So I give him a lot of credit for doing it.
Yeah. Heck
you know?
Yeah. You know, putting his butt, you know.
But he must have been like,
the breeze there.
Like you said, he must have really thought in his mind though, like, why are they making me do this right now? But
yeah, it was rough.
Good for him for trying at least.
You know, he came out strong against Keith Lee, but Lee, you know, beat him with the Spirit Bomb. Short match. You know, they said Lee dominated him, but like it was pretty even.
It was, yeah. I didn't think there was any dominance. I think it was more even Steven type thing.
Yeah. But at least Keith Lee gets a win. That wasn't a DQ finish,
and it was against somebody, you know,
against somebody who is beatable and hasn't really been doing anything. But We have to talk about Angel Garza going down with a knee injury real quick. They think it. Last night Hurricane Helms was saying it looks to be a quad tear. It was reported today that it could be a hip injury, which would significantly lower the timetable of his return. But there is no word on what it is. He got an MRI today. Obviously, there's no timetable for a return. So we'll see what happens there. But it stinks that he's down. But while Angel Garza is down, it's like that day, that, like they talk about with the New York Yankees. They sat down their starting first baseman and let this unknown rookie Lou Gehrig take his place, and Lou Gehrig never ever left the field until he literally couldn't go on because of ALS. It's like, when someone goes down or takes a day off, it's an opportunity for somebody else to step up. Andrade should be doing that, and I love Corey Howell's idea of like putting Melina with him. That sounds like the way to go for me. Put him with Melina, and let's freshen this guy up. Let's get it going here. He's too good to be doing what he's doing, which is nothing. Being in stupid tag matches that never end, the infinite loop again, the repeating Stretch Armstrong thing. Come on, we can't stretch out Street Profits versus Garza and Andrade any more than we did. Like Angel Garza, I'm sure he's not happy about being injured, but man, he must be like, well, hopefully, when I come back, I'll be doing something fresh. Like, Jesus Christ, does it take me getting injured for this company to do something new and different? It's sad.
Sometimes it is the only way, unfortunately.
It's sad.
It is. It's very sad.
Hurt Business backstage. They intimidate some guy and steal his food. The food that the guy was eating, he was already eating the food. And then these three guys start sharing the guy's food as if COVID doesn't exist. So there's that. Akira Tozawa was eaten by a shark last week, and some ninja delivered Tozawa's will to R-Truth this week. And it said that their battles were epic. Even his sensei, Kung Funaki, would be proud, which I thought was a wonderful reference to bring back Kung Funaki there.
I thought it was just... And
then Tozawa comes back, retroactively continues him. He's not dead. He pins R-Truth for 24/7 title. The ninja is revealed to be Drew Gulak, who pins Tozawa for the title. Then R-Truth pins Gulak for the title and runs away.
Head is spinning. So much has happened within that time frame.
That was tough to recap. Yeah.
Yeah. Thoughts?
Eaten by a shark? Is this like WWE's like
you know what they
wink
did?
Wink nudge nudge? We have jumped the shark, so we're not going to jump the shark. We're going to get eaten by a shark.
You know what they did? They read the book or that show, 1001 Ways.
Oh, 1001 Ways to Die.
Yeah, and they just picked one.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Oh, eaten by a shark? There you go.
The old Spike TV show. Yeah. Oh, man.
Why not?
Seth Rollins catches up with Murphy backstage, tells him to dress in the suit that he got for him, and Murphy leaves his cell phone behind, so Seth Rollins steals it, which will become useful momentarily.
Yes.
Luckily, he knows Murphy's password.
I think, yeah, maybe it's probably his birthday.
We got the king's. Yeah, probably. His birthday was very recent too.
Why not?
The king's court with the Mysterio family. Jerry the King Lawler, driven into a COVID hotspot.
So happy.
After having a heart attack all those years ago and a stroke a couple years ago.
But we need Jerry Lawler on the show.
But then again, it's not like Jerry Lawler's exactly taking care of himself either. He's still wrestling, and he just congratulations to King Lawler. I have to say congratulations to Jerry the King Lawler. He just celebrated his 50th year in professional wrestling.
Wow.
And had a match on Saturday.
Good for him.
So
still don't think he should be doing anything. But
absolutely should not be coming to this show right now. But he's here. He's interviewing the Mysterio family, and yeah, it's just a big bunch of nothing. Mysterio talks about how he loves his kids, and they are his kids. Even though we established 15 years ago that Eddie Guerrero offered the DNA to make Dominic because Ray was shooting blanks, whatever. Seth Rollins appears on the screen, says someone in the family isn't being 100% honest with the rest of the family. The truth is Aaliyah is not telling the truth about how she feels about his disciple Murphy. And then he shows a bunch of text messages that shows Murphy messaging Aaliyah and saying, "Hey, I just want to apologize again Hope you're doing okay. She goes, I'm fine. It's just been a lot. He goes, I get it, but if you want to talk about it, I'm here.
I might just take you up on that offer. By the way, happy birthday.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so you're reading it with me. I was like, ooh, wow, so incriminating. But Jesus Christ, it's like, can we just end this thing already? And then
they're going to each family member.
And then, Mysterio is like, why are you talking to Murphy? And she's like, he's not like Seth. And she walks off. I'm like, dude, I can't. I really can't. I cannot with this I can't.
I can't.
Trevor Mishke, Lunchtime Suicide with Tim White reminds him of the Akira Tozawa thing. Oh, didn't Tim White during the Lunchtime Suicide vignettes? I think he. Well, I know that he drowned himself in an aquarium, but
what?
Yeah, like they used to, like the most tasteless thing. Like they had him commit suicide, but then he missed, and they just kept doing this thing. Like,
wait, is this WWE?
This is WWE. You look up Lunchtime Suicide.
I don't really want to.
It started at the end of 2005 and ended in 2006.
No,
I think it ended with Tim White murdering Josh Matthews at the end of it. That's how it ended.
When the sky comes down.
That's right. Yeah, Josh Matthews. I'm Josh Matthews coming out. Yeah, that one. Jesus. The funniest one was though when Bret Hart was going in the Hall of Fame. Like Josh Matthews caught up with him and he goes, "Hey, Mr. White, oh, you look much happier. Oh, look, you're holding up a sign for the hitman." But really, he was holding up a sign for a hitman that was on the roof, and then he got shot in the head, and then he still survived it, came back next week, and killed Josh Matthews. So, actually, in hindsight, it's so stupid. It's funny. I guess that's what they think some of this crap will be. Anyway, Murphy catches up with Rollins backstage, grabs him by the suit jacket, and Dominic attacks Murphy, and that's the end of that.
We have to talk later because I'm very curious about that whole thing.
Yeah, it was so bad they kept it off of TV and just had him as WWE.com vignettes or whatever it was. I forget what they used to call them. Natalya and Lana complaining about wanting the tag team championships from Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler despite losing 2 matches in 2 weeks in a minute and a half each. They think they should be tag team champions, so I don't fucking get it. Like, who cares? It's like Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke are a new tag team. They beat them, and Mandy Rose almost murdered Lana with
she did.
with a slam that landed Lana right on her
very
forehead.
Much did.
Aleister Black, despite wearing that
I love how you just moved on. That was it.
I don't even care.
You don't care.
I'm not wasting time on that shit
Okay,
anymore.
go ahead,
I've learned my
sweetie.
lesson. Aleister Black, despite wearing that fucking eye patch and taking it off, and there was nothing different about his eyes, now he takes off the eye patch. Now one eye is black and the other one is blue.
Again, inconsistency.
It's like, anyway, he says he won't forget Kevin Owens, leaving him behind so he could be with his family during COVID or whatever. And they never mentioned COVID, but he said, I'll never forget, how are you going to explain to your son what I'm going to do to you or whatever. They actually had a really good match.
They did. Despite the weird, feud stuff, they did.
Yeah. I liked it. It was a hard-hitting match. And even though it was a DQ finish, and you know how much I fucking love DQ finishes at this point.
It's your favorite.
It's so annoying. This one actually made sense and was well done because they were intense with each other, and I was over this feud. I was a couple weeks ago.
You were totally over it.
But
you said it pulled you back in with this match.
Yeah, I got pulled in because of the feud that they were doing, or the match that they had tonight.
The match that they had, yeah.
And they were just beating the crap out of each other, hard hitting. A couple of good high spots. Owens doing the senton off the apron, which was pretty sweet. And then Aleister Black, being super uber aggressive against Kevin, and he's punching away at Kevin, and then eventually he brings his arm back to punch him and elbowed the referee in the ribs.
Sauce, though? Isn't that the secret sauce to these matches and to these feuds? If they're not gonna, because we talked about this before with Black, right? He's not going to be one to talk and really sell himself that way, right? But he's a good in-ring talent. He's got a lot to offer in the ring. Kevin Owens, obviously, and I've been hard on Kevin Owens in the past few months, about his character and everything. But again, Owens knows how to perform in the ring. So why can't we just have these hard-hitting matches with these beatdowns? And utilize that to their strengths, whatever strengths that they have. And I'm not saying Owens is not good on the mic. He's shown that is good on the mic. But what I'm saying is for those two, like that's the secret sauce. It's actually anybody, you play into the strengths that you have. Black's obviously a good performer. Owens is a good performer. They have good chemistry in the ring. They had a really good match tonight. Yeah. Just play on that. Don't have to do these stupid stuff in between with the promos and you know what I mean? I get it. Sometimes somebody has to talk, right? It can't always just be through your actions, but a majority of the time it can be.
Yes, I agree with that, actually. Andrew Elder bringing up the point, too. They did change Aleister Black's music tonight, and it was bad. It was really bad, actually. I don't know why they have to, screw with people's music and make it worse like they did with Keith Lee. But, yeah, I'm with you. I think that, too often, they're not even booking rivalries anymore. It's more always they just keep making new titles because that's the easy way to do it. It's we want the title. They don't really book great personal angles anymore.
No.
They started doing that with Orton and Edge. They did a really, really good personal angle with that. But there's not enough personal angles. It's Andrade and Angel Garza were fucking on the wrong page for the last few months, yet they still kept getting title opportunities. Can't we just obviously there's something right going there if they keep getting title opportunities. Jesus.
Right. I think this, and again, I don't know how they haven't figured it out yet. It's just play into somebody what they're really good at, and obviously in-ring performance for both Black and Owens is great. Utilize that because it does pull you back in.
I agree. R-Truth retains the 24/7 title in a triple threat match that nobody cared about, but the only thing I really liked about it was R-Truth using the attitude adjustment as a tribute to his childhood hero, John Cena.
I love how he mentioned John Cena almost every time.
I know, his childhood hero,
his childhood hero.
Meanwhile, Cena is 5 years younger than R-Truth, I believe. Actually, I think R-Truth almost 50?
I want to say he's almost 50.
Let's see.
I think he's 40.
He's 48 years old, and John Cena's 43. So, yeah.
So, yeah, there's...
It's just so great. It's so good.
My childhood
hero, John Cena. R-Truth is, he's just wonderful. He's a wonderful person.
He's amazing.
Dominic Mysterio versus Murphy. This was a match. They had the intensity going here, but I am just so tired of this family thing. You're not going to get me to care about Aaliyah and Dominic and the whole thing. The slap, it just feels so phony. It's Dominic's not an actor, he's a wrestler, and they're trying to make him into an actor, and Aaliyah wants to be an actress, and can we please?
So I have a question for you.
I don't want to see anymore.
I have a question though. Was the intent, and again, you're going to say, Victoria, there is no intent because they take the show on the whim of, every week.
Yeah.
Do you think there was ever an intent though of having the whole family involved?
I think it just kind of built to that when they started bringing them in at SummerSlam. Maybe somebody had the idea well, how can we stretch this out into the fall? Let's bring the family in, or either that, or it's come out that Ray's daughter Leah, she doesn't want to get in the ring. She doesn't want to be a wrestler.
But she wants to
because everybody kind of assumed that she was going to be a wrestler, just because she was appearing on the show. It's everybody's going to be a wrestler. Angie Mysterio is going to be doing 619s before you know it. It's not gonna happen. I think Ray's wife is a doctor, I believe. I think Angie Mysterio is a doctor or some kind of somebody in the medical field.
I want to say you're right. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, you double check that while I continue on here. But it's Ray obviously is pulling his weight. He kept them sweating on whether he was going to sign a contract and taking offers from AEW as well. But probably part of the caveat is you got to get my son involved. I want Dominic wrestling. So Dominic, to his great credit, has done a wonderful job with every opportunity that was given to him. He's killed it every single time. He's been really great. They don't book him well. They don't book him that great at all. He never beat Seth Rollins ever, but hey, whatever. But he's done it. He's done a good job. Aaliyah wants to be an actress. Okay, get her on the show. It's okay. All right. Eventually, the nepotism is getting a little out of control here, and at the end of the day, like my big question is who is going to be coming out the better for this? Like eventually when they pull the trigger on Murphy turning on Seth Rollins, is Murphy really going to like just go to the moon after that? I don't think so. Dominic has never beaten Rollins, and he lost again to Murphy tonight. Dominic's won, I think, 2 matches out of like the 10 that he's had so far. Like, is he really going to be like, you know, a giant superstar with a lot of momentum coming out of this feud? Like, every feud, there should be some kind of idea.
You're right.
like, okay, at the end of this feud, who do we want to benefit the most from this feud? Okay, we want this person to be, you know, set up for a title opportunity. We want this person to be, you know, just you know, at this level. We want them to be at Intercontinental Championship level. We want them to be at this level, you know, coming out of this feud. I don't see any benefit at all for anybody to continue on in this feud and go from there. It's benefiting absolutely nobody. So what do you got about Angie Mysterio?
I'm almost there. Hold on.
You're almost there. Okay. But like I'm tired of like seeing the Maury show like play out. It's like, God, that is so like these like white trash family feud things are so passé. Move on with our lives here.
I can't find it.
Okay. I think I read it in his biography, but I don't know. Let's see. Rey Mysterio. I'm gonna look it up myself. You talk about the next thing.
Okay. Because it's talking about her body measurements. Like, I don't need to talk about
what
your
the
body.
hell?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I don't know what site I'm on. I'm really like... All right, let's see what we have here. Let's see. So the Hurt Business is walking backstage. She'll face Mustafa Ali, Ricochet, and Apollo Crews next. And then we hit a commercial break. Then Dolph Ziggler catches up with Adam Pearce backstage and has an idea. The Hurt Business makes her entrance. MVB talks about Apollo Crews making the same dumb mistakes every week. Cedric Alexander had a slip up against him last week. So they sent the Hurt Business back. Hurt Business boot camp. Crews is never getting the United States Championship back. Every time he tries,
are you just reading
dropped.
my recap?
I am, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, so Cedric Alexander.
If you
Cedric Alexander is obviously being quarantined for some reason.
I have to say, you know, it's so funny. When I first started watching wrestling with you, when we first started dating, I remember you'd be like, "Oh, you want?" When you used to do the thoughts after the show.
Oh God, I can't believe I used to do that.
I remember the thoughts, and you'd be like, "Oh, can you read my thoughts to make sure, like, you know, like
yes,
see how they are and everything?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I would wind up bringing the whole recap though, and then I would tell you, like, "Oh, you know, I really liked what you put in that, like, about that one match." And you go, "You read my entire recap?" I go, "Yeah, I read the entire recap." Like, "Yeah, but you watched the show." I'm like, "No, I really enjoy the recap. I think you've summarized everything really, really well." So, just kudos to you, just for. That's why.
Thank you.
That's why I read word for word what my grades.
Freebird says that Angie is a medical office assistant in the medical field. So I thought she was a doctor. I don't know why. Okay. Vincent DiGirolamo just says the tribal chief. He's been texting us that all day. I love that. All day. The tribal chief.
I did not know he was in the chat.
He just got in, I think. Ricochet, Apollo Crews, Mustafa Ali
make their way to the ring and start brawling with the Herpes.
Yeah, and then and then Retribution, even though none of them are there, they just flash the lights anyway, whatever. So just keep Retribution in the forefront of your mind when they really should be in the forefront of the fucking drawing board again. Because that whole thing sucks.
Ooh.
Honestly, quarantining them could be the best thing for them. Come up with... Can we at least take the next... And I know they won't, but take the next 2 fucking weeks to plan out what you want to do with these guys and girls, because they fucking are dying right now.
Guys
it sucks.
and girls.
I mean, T-Bar... It's like they know that this is like the drizzling shits, because they've taken the Twitter and they've just gone full fucking, you know... off the farm here, you know, with like, you know, just going at people and attacking. And I mean, they had like Dominic Dijakovic / T-Bar had a really funny interaction with Chris Jericho where he tried to explain to Dave LaGreca why, you know, WWE hired Retribution and tried to make sense of a storyline that makes no fucking sense. And Jericho just retweeted, and then Dominic Dijakovic tweeted a picture of Jericho's controversial Fozzy rally where 250,000 people were exposed to COVID, and just said, So I was like, kind of dark humor, but pretty funny too. But man, the Hurt Business, again, Stretch Armstrong shit. You know, they'll never move on from Apollo Crews, Mustafa Ali, and fucking Ricochet. And Mustafa Ali's, of course, you know,
until somebody dies, that's not going to, no one.
God, don't say that.
No, I'm not saying, like, stop. Don't make me feel like a bad person. I'm just saying, like, in WWE world, like.
That was very Jeopardy-like right there. Man.
You always make me feel like a bad person.
You just said somebody has to die for this to stop.
You know what I mean?
How about retire? Can we retire first?
No, you know what I mean. I didn't mean it like that.
Aye.
I don't want anybody dying of COVID. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know. Anyway,
please, everyone in the chat's gonna think I'm an asshole now.
No, you're fine. So Robert Roode makes his way to the ring. He is the one answering the open challenge from Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre spent a good majority of the match dominating him. So, but it's good to see Robert Roode. We haven't seen him since the COVID-19 pandemic began, because he lives in Canada. Obviously, there was, you know, some travel issues, you know, going back and forth. Now, people from Canada obviously can come to the United States, but you have to quarantine, right? So,
I don't know. I'm just an idiot who wants people to die. Apparently,
you're mad at me. You said it, not me.
Okay, can I just explain myself real quick?
Explain yourself.
I don't mean like that. Actually, somebody dying in real life. It's like, you know, those stupid angles. Like somebody gets bit by a shark. Okay, somebody has to die for these angles to just, you know, whatever. Or how about WrestleMania? Somebody jumped, or what show was it? Somebody jumped off the roof. They're presumed that they're dead.
That was Money in the Bank.
Yeah, whatever show it was. That's what I mean.
Yes.
Somebody has to
until
die
somebody dies in storyline.
In storyline.
Yes, okay,
that's what I mean. Nobody dying.
People
of
have
COVID.
actually died in storyline this year. AJ Styles was buried alive.
That's what I'm saying. So don't make me feel like a bad person.
I'm not making you feel like a bad person, but you have to. Sometimes you have to clarify what the hell it is that you're saying. Ay. Anyway. So let's stop talking about it so it stops being a thing. Drew McIntyre spent a lot of time dominating Robert Roode in this. Robert Roode never really looked like a serious threat to the title, but I did like the finish. I like the hitting the glorious DDT, you know, the kick out. They did a nice job there. Drew McIntyre wins. We go backstage. Randy Orton disguised as the janitor. It's very clear that it's Randy Orton because I've never seen a janitor well over 6 foot and slender.
Quite as built.
Anyway, he is pushing a janitor cart. He stops, takes a chair off the cart. He's still wearing a mask at this point. Walks outside of a door that very clearly says Legends Lounge. You hear Ric Flair, Big Show, and Christian laughing in there. I don't know if Shawn Michaels is in there. I think at some point Shawn Michaels walked away after he lost, because Shawn Michaels also has to be on NXT this Wednesday. So I think they got Shawn Michaels out of there to at least save a little continuity here. Orton takes off his mask, reveals himself to be Randy Orton, puts on night vision goggles, barges into the Legends Lounge, and hilarity ensues. We could just say that. So he hits the lights, and all of a sudden, all you hear are chair shots galore and and things being knocked over. When we come back, all the legends are down, tables are overturned. Randy Orton is just looking down at the destruction that he has caused, and then he leaves, puts his disguise back on. The officials run in, and the janitor Orton points, and they all run in there. Even though they watched on TV Randy Orton disguised as the janitor, there's no possible way that anybody could have known unless they watched it on fucking TV. Randy Orton in a janitor's disguise is standing literally right outside the door, and he's like, it's in there. There's something happened in there. And they all run it. Are you kidding me? It's so, somebody must have watched Silence of the Lambs, because this was like straight out of like I know it's on Netflix. It was on over the weekend.
We watched it over the weekend.
Somebody must have watched Silence of the Lambs and was like, oh man, when Jodie Foster's in the basement and Buffalo Bill is down there with the night vision goggles, wouldn't that be cool if we did that with Randy Orton? And Vince is like, that's good shit. It was goofy. It was goofy as fuck. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It actually made me laugh, but that's not the desired effect that they want to go for.
I don't think that's
not the desired effect they want to go for.
But it was definitely comical.
It's so absurd.
I enjoyed it.
Oh my god!
If it was for something else, the way they did it, I would have enjoyed it.
Okay. Machine Walls RKO strikes again. Yep, that's right.
That's it. That's it.
Jeez Louise. I mean, that's some, as Quentin Walter says, that's some bad shit. That's how the show goes off the air, and we're supposed to believe that Randy Orton's like this psychotic serial killer because that happened. I'm
I
like,
told you. See, the whole death theme.
yes, he has to murder the legends. It's like, okay, it's like we got.
They're obsessed with immortality. They're obsessed with death.
I know, yeah, they really are. They really are, I guess, because that's what the world is going through right now. Okay, this show, I thought there's some good to it. A lot of missteps as well. Obviously their handling of COVID has been shit from day one.
Obviously,
this ending angle was funny, and that's not what they were going for. By far, that is not what they were going for.
Who knows? Maybe they were. They wanted to switch gears.
I like Robert Roode coming back. I'm trying to think what else I like. I don't like I hate the Mysterio Rollins thing. You know what? I'm trying to think. I said that I liked the show, and I'm not even sure what I like.
I don't
anymore.
know. I what's funny? You put in on Twitter that overall it's a pretty decent show, way better than last week.
I mean, it flowed.
I think that's why.
I like the explanation at the beginning. I did like the legend segments throughout. I like Drew McIntyre a lot. I like Robert Roode coming back. I like the Kevin Owens Aleister Black thing. Dominic Mysterio and Murphy had a good match.
Yeah.
But the fucking storyline's shit. Yeah, that's it. So that's why I said decent, not good.
Not good.
So there's a couple things that I like. There's a lot of missteps, though. Victoria, what do you... a deep Christian Aquila asking what happened to Raw Underground this week. Well, what happened to Raw Underground this week? They have they've quarantined the entire NXT roster because there's been a giant COVID outbreak in the Performance Center. So everybody that was on Raw Underground, the people that surround the ring, the people that usually get crushed by Dolph Ziggler or Eric or Titus O'Neil, they are all Performance Center trainees. So if they're all quarantined or if half of them have COVID, you can't have them. So there's no Raw Underground this week. Wow. And no explanation of it either. Nobody mentioned it, nothing. Just never
just
happened.
Not there.
So there you go.
Because they don't want to ever say it's because of COVID.
That's it. So Victoria, what did you think of this show?
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't. And I'll provide a reason, obviously.
Yes, please do.
I just feel like
not enough fake storyline deaths.
No, definitely not. Nobody died this week. No, I just feel like it was just okay. I can't. But obviously we can't do thumbs in the middle anymore.
Right.
So I just feel like I would have to go more towards the side of there was a lot of things that I didn't like versus the things that I did enjoy. So it's just kind of outweighing the good and the bad outweighed the good this week. Okay. Even though there were some really good things that happened, it was just like, everything else. And some of the things were just kind of blah. Or some things I'm kind of over it. Like you said, the Mysterio thing, kind of over it,
Yeah.
I want to see I want to see some other things kind of evolve more. So that's why I'm more on the
meh.
Thumbs down side.
Down side.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a very tepid thumbs up just because I like that they at least tried to explain the legends helping out Drew. I liked the Mysterio Murphy match. I liked Robert Roode coming out. I liked the Kevin Owens Aleister Black thing.
You know why? I think another reason why too.
I think if you add all those segments up, that would equal 1 good hour of Raw.
True.
So if I liked a third of the show, I have to give it a thumbs up.
I think for me too, even though with Legends everything was kind of cool, it's like I don't think they should be back though. Like Ric Flair being there bothers me.
Yes, I agree.
So much.
I'm with you on that.
And I think that's why it's really hard for me to separate that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I'm not extremely afraid of COVID. But I am fearful of it to an extent, in the sense
absolutely.
of
I'm with you.
Where people older people in my life could get it and I don't want anything happening to them.
Yep.
That's where my head is at. And I think that people have to understand with COVID is the fact that, again, you could be asymptomatic and you're passing it to somebody. This virus mutates, so whether... And I'm not getting political here, but whether you're like for the mask or not for the mask and everything like that, it's just that because there have been individuals, they've canceled their appointments for testing and they've gotten positive test results for COVID. Obviously, that's weird considering they never even took the test.
Right.
So those numbers do kind of skew a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there are people who do have symptoms, do come back, test positive for it. You know, there's a lot more of that going on than there are, I guess, people that are getting false positives, so to speak, you know?
Yeah.
So it's out there still, you know? And I think that we do have to take precautions. It makes me very sad that this is continuing. And I don't mean this whole COVID thing, but I think it's relevant. The only reason why is because they really are acting as if it's just going to be gone, and they'll just keep trudging through no matter what. They don't really care how many outbreaks they have in their company. They're just going to keep plugging along, and it's like, I just don't think that's really safe.
No,
I just don't want anything happening to anybody because of negligence, you know?
I agree.
I think certain things can be avoided, and I don't like seeing Ric Flair on the show for that reason. I know it's his own choice, but protect them.
Yes.
You need to say to them, no, we want you around.
I know.
The next few years. 2020, we don't want to risk it.
I know. It stinks.
So that's just my take on it. So
yeah.
I don't mean to.
Chat room, what do you think? Raw thumbs up, thumbs down? Yeah, the COVID thing is tough. People are already giving their thumbs up here. Quentin says Raw gets 5 COVID mass.
Yes.
Jorge Oliva gives Raw a thumbs down. The recap a thumbs up. And New House 4 thumbs up. Super congrats, Familia. Thank you. Andrew Elder gives it kind of a thumbs up. Corey Howell, Mike, Victoria, and Baby Lily always a thumbs up. Raw kind of decent. Grash says 2 kids in the town got COVID, so their schools are going to remote learning. Yeah, that's
what I'm saying. It's like it's there.
Billy Hefner gives it a best Raw ever just because he was on the Thunderdome. Absolutely.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe I will change my mind. Thumbs up because Billy got in the Thunderdome.
There you go. Freebird gives us a thumbs down. Adeep says that compared to last week, this is better. Yes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a step up.
Daniel Shelf says Raw paid more taxes than Trump. Too political here. Daniel Shelf gives it a thumbs in the middle, actually.
That's
Grash gives it a thumbs meh.
Daniel.
So, yeah. This is like just a Raw that was there, but it's better than most of the stuff that they usually put out in the fall. So there you go. Thank you, everybody, for congratulating us on the house, by the way. And
don't forget next week.
Yes. Now
watch along.
Let's recap what's going on for next week. The 100th episode of Post Raw. Raw recap is my thumbs up every time from Quentin. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the 100th episode of Post Raw, we are doing a live watch along of next week's Monday Night Raw. So we'll be on here at 7:45 to get started for this thing. So please tune in. Check us out.
Special guest.
We would really appreciate that. Yeah, we very well may have special guests on the show next week. So, stay tuned as well. But Grash has already sent me over a very interesting little logo that I'm very excited about. And yeah, thank you everybody for on the home ownership. Nafis says thumbs up for you guys.
99 show, and I have 99% on my computer.
There you go.
Pretty cool.
Very nice. Very nice. So 7:45, be here next week, please. I know that there's a lot going on TV, but we would love to have you all with us. And again, please, if Machine wants me to bring the sources, I very well might have to get through get through a show.
Yes.
Raw 100 is the show that gets flagged because of Mike. LOL from Andrew Elder. Not this. No. Don't worry. I know all the ways around it. Don't worry about it. So we'll see. Until then, I am Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com.
And I am Victoria Tedesco.
Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.